Diversity, digital media, and disabilities. He said, "What? I think they added me on Facebook. It's trending. Haven't you heard?" These are all common statements society is saying today in the digital world. Online news, top trends, and social media are a few everyday entities that consumers want constantly and efficiently. Devices such as cell phones, tablets, and computers allow consumers to find news they want to know by just a fast swipe or click. But how does someone who can't move, speak, or hear complete these seemingly easy and enriching tasks? Well, they can't, or rather, don't use digital media like most users, which ultimately is leading to a digital divide. This brings up the term PWD. What's PWD? It's the common term used to refer to persons with disabilities. When we hear disability, do we think of someone in a wheelchair? It's common to think of a group by what society and the media has labeled it. But several other disabilities exist, and the people who have them obviously struggle with using digital media. According to the Center of Disease Control, in the US, there are 38.3 million Americans over the age of 18 who have trouble hearing. There are also 26.9 million Americans who have vision trouble. And according to the Christopher Reeve Foundation, over 5 million Americans have some sort of paralysis that does not let them move either their arms or legs. According to a Pew research done in 2017, the disabled community here in the US are adopting new technology at a slower rate than others. In addition, there is a positive correlation with other stats, such as how disabled Americans are 3 times as likely to not use the web than those without a disability. And disabled Americans are less likely to have multiple devices to access the web, thus increasing the digital divide. Think back to the digital world I said that exists by simply swiping or clicking. Do we as a society take for granted these functions we don't think about? Because these simple functions are impossible for PWDs, diverse technology has been developed to help these users stay connected with the digital world. This presentation will inform you how diverse digital media can be used and benefited from. There are different kinds of products and services that exist for PWDs. There are braille displays on computers and screen reader software for those with vision trouble. A direct quote from the American Foundation of the Blind: "Screen review software translates on-screen information into electronic text. This electronic text is then sent to a speech synthesizer or a refreshable braille display. The user is then able to hear the text spoken or read it tactually with the refreshable braille. The braille display functionality gives users the ability to navigate around their computer screens and in turn use screen reader software to interact with any media." So think about working in the digital media field. Do these services give the visually disabled a chance to succeed? Or better yet, think about working with media in general. Well, for cartoon author and illustrator James Thurber, these services did not exist, but he still became well known for his creativity with media. He contributed to the New Yorker magazine with his cartoons and comedy, despite being almost completely blind. So with new technology to help the visually disabled such as the ones mentioned, it gives them an even better opportunity to benefit from digital media to express their creativity than from Thurber's time. So when you finish that news piece about Congress and begin to worry, someone with a vision disability finished listening to it through software and shared that same worry. Digital media to someone with a hearing disability is hard, but services such as captions on videos have been created and are being used more throughout different entities, such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. According to the National Institute of Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, scientists are developing a text-to-speech synthesis system that, quote, synthesizes speech that is more intelligible and natural sounding to be incorporated in speech-generating devices. This allows for these disabled users to interact through different digital entities like social media and games, ultimately lowering the barrier of the digital divide. For the disabled who lost limb functionality, eye tracking technology, sometimes known as assistive technology, lets computer users who can't use their limbs to navigate and control a computer by using their eyes like a mouse. According to Tobii ATI, who makes an eye tracking software known as Gaze, states that their technology helps those with disabilities surf the web and use Facebook, which ultimately helps the disabled community stay connected with the digital world and continue advancing with the technology and information. With all this recent technology that allows for PWDs to interact with the digital world, do we as a society believe it gives them an equal opportunity? How does the media show PWDs? I asked young adults without disabilities their opinions on these questions. I told them they would say anonymous.
Question is, think the disabled are shown positively or negatively in the media? I think it depends a little. I think if it's a right-wing source, then they are shown more in a negative light. That's not to say that a left-wing is a completely positive approach, but I think if it's a left-wing source of media, that it tends to be more positive. But overall, I think the media is shifting towards a more positive outlook. However, I have seen multiple negative stuff. So I think overall it's getting better, but it needs to be in a better place. Yeah, I know that with our recent president, he's been shown to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not against, but very rude and demeaning towards those with disabilities. Constantly on his Twitter, making fun of, mocking them on interviews on public air. So that's not cool at all. But there's also been recent sources of media, such as I remember on Twitter not too long ago, like a high school robotics team built like a wheelchair for a disabled child, and that was like a really well done thing that a lot of people liked. I know CNN broadcasted that in like a positive medium. So yeah, I think with the whole advent of I guess like social media, Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram, Reddit, online, I think disabled people are much more easily able to find opportunities for jobs rather than before when it was much harder. Overall, I think the media is a good way to help spread awareness about disabilities. It's a good platform to use for that. But then, of course, there's a bunch of cyberbullies out there that always, make bad comments on people and stuff like that. So, yeah, I do think the digital media has helped. People could, with disabilities, it's easier for them to, find other people online that are in the same situation. Like, they find, a Facebook group of different people with the same disability, and they could, communicate to each other. And it's, like I said, it's a good way to spread awareness so people who don't know about the disabilities, they might, recognize it in the future and, help out with it and help other people in need.
I believe the media portrays people with disabilities in a positive light. When we talk about real life portrayals of people with disabilities, for example, like in news stories, they're usually portrayed in a positive light because usually the story is about overcoming a struggle. And then usually in movies and TV shows, they're usually neutral, like they're just like any other person. And then in the positive light, you can also be, like I've seen with some portrayal of people with autism, like, what was that show? I think it was called, The Good Doctor. I haven't seen it, but it's like, I guess the doctor in training has autism. He's exceptionally smart because of his autism, and he also sees things that other people don't see. I don't really see any negative portrayal of people with disabilities in the media, but that's what I think. Also, for the physically disabled, think of maybe somebody who does not have parts of their arm. Like, for example, are they for lack of a better word, wrist amputee or forearm amputee? There's 3D printed parts that you can download, 3D print yourself, and if you attach a piece of electromagnetic material that interferes with electrical waves, people can operate a smartphone still, and you have access to all the digital media from your phone nowadays. So, scientists and engineers are beginning to explore that.
I spoke with Mr. Kuntz, who is a PWD and works as a director in the Disability Services here at Texas State, about his opinion on how the media shows disabilities and how new technology has given the disabled an opportunity to engage with digital media.
I think pretty well. would say, what I've seen in the last few years more positively. I know I had sent your questions as well to my colleague who works with our deaf and hard of hearing population, and she said that she has a friend whose daughter is, the whole family is deaf, and the young lady graduated 7th in her class, and she was a basketball star on her team, and she appeared in the news several times, I actually appeared on the news several times through the years.
Oh, cool.
Growing up and in later life, and I think that especially for special interest stories, I think the news does generally portray people with disabilities in a positive light. I think if anything, it may treat us as oh, you're such an inspiration and so amazing, when we're dealing with life, but I think overall positively, those social networks and technology has really been a help to students that are deaf or hard of hearing. And she said they tend to use Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. I would say the folks that are blind that I know, like I use Facebook some, but I'm not heavy into it. But there are blind people who are. Some use Twitter. The Instagram and Snapchat probably not so much because it's all a lot, very visual for us. But yeah, the people with disabilities that I'm aware of or know of, I would say use all the different types of social media to one extent or another.
In conclusion, digital media interaction for those disabled isn't impossible thanks to recent technology such as Braille displays and captioning, but the digital divide still exists for the disabled demographic. Some questions that will be answered in the future, like will new technology lower or even eliminate the barrier of digital media engagement, can translate to other demographics of society that are unable to access digital media. When considering new digital media ideas and devices to access them, the diversity of users should be considered because it gives equal opportunity for anyone to succeed.